I am one with divine love, and I allow that love to express through me now. Let's say that together. I am one with divine love, and I allow that love to express through me now. Let's say it again. I am one with divine love, and I allow that love to express through me now. So I invite you to close your eyes. And let's take a holy breath together, just a deep breath, and then let go. Just let go into being present here and now. I am one with divine love. What more do we need? Because love is a healing power. Love is a prospering power. Love invigorates our minds, blesses our bodies. I am one with divine love. So just let those words work in your mind over and over again. I am one with divine love. I am one with divine love. And if there's a part of your body that needs a blessing, just see divine love at work in that part of your body. Whether it's just one part or a whole system, just say divine love is at work in me and through me now. Whether you think it's a big thing or a little thing, it's all the same to divine love. It is present. It is active. It is potent. I am one with divine love. And if there's a person in your life that seems out of sorts, maybe is not behaving the way that you think they should behave, rather than judging, as the scripture from the Daily Word said, let's use the righteous judgment and see divine love present within them, divine love guiding them, divine love blessing them, divine love bringing order to every part of their lives, divine love anointing them with its light. I am one with divine love, and to this person you can think, you are one with divine love. And there's some area in your life that is not the way you'd like it to be. Again, affirm, I am one with divine love. The situation is one with divine love. There can only be love, because there's only one presence, there's only one power, there can only be love here. And if you haven't found it, keep affirming, I am one with divine love. I am one with divine love. And now if there's some place in the world that you would like to bless, there's certainly a lot to choose from. But let's see divine love present and active, guiding each one according to a pattern of spiritual unfoldment, according to a pattern of spiritual overcoming. Divine love is with them, working through them to guide choices, to bless mistakes, to redirect energy in a way of good. We are one with divine love. We are one with divine love. And now let's return our attention back to being centered in that love. Each one of us, I am one with divine love. Let's take that into the silence. from that immersion in divine love, from that connection, we recognize that we can draw on love in any moment, in any circumstance, for ourselves, for others. We can say, I am one with divine love, and that is our truth. Amen. Thank you, Ed. So this is a song written by Jan Garrett and J.D. Martin, a wonderful singer-songwriter team. They happen to be married too, which sort of enhances the blessing. They sing wonderful harmony together. And this is a song about, it's called Living in the Heart of God. And when we get to the chorus, after you hear it a couple times, I'll invite you to sing along. But it's just about recognizing that whatever's going on, the truth is we're living in the heart of God. Nothing is ever lost, and we are not forgotten. We are living in the heart of God. Nothing is ever lost, and we are not forgotten. We are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. Morning sun coming through the trees, the green leaves shimmer in the summer breeze, the songbirds singing in harmony, living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. And after the dazzle of day is done, the moon makes love to the setting sun. The stars come twinkling one by one, living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. And nothing is ever lost, and we are not forgotten. We are living in the heart of God. Nothing is ever lost, and we are not forgotten. We are living in the heart of God. We sleep in dreams both deep and bright, sailing through the velvet night, refreshing the soul to the Spirit's delight, living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. You want to sing it again? We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living in the heart of God. We are living in the heart of God. And nothing is ever lost, and we are not forgotten. Thank you.
Well, that was guitarist Blair Taylor, and now we have minister Blair Taylor.
Thank you, Ed. Thanks so much. So I was thinking, I was ordained in 1981 and had lots of wonderful experiences serving as associate minister for a year in San Leandro, where she invited me to come as her replacement, because she wanted to retire, but the board didn't. They said, well, we'll hire you an associate. And she said, well, I'll leave after 6 months or 12 months. After 12 months, it was real apparent that she was not going to leave, because I was doing about 70% of her work because I was expecting to take over. So we went to Merced, and that was just a wonderful, wonderful experience. We were there 5.5 years, and then I was at Unity San Diego for 30 years. And I've been retired not quite a year and a half now. And somebody asked me if I was a candidate for this church. I go, no, I'm retired. But one of the ideas that came to me, and it was somebody else's idea, I have to say that, I don't even know where it came from, was the idea of bathing in prayer. And so that's what my lesson is about today. So I want to share a couple things about that. First, how many of you have been to Unity Village? Okay, a few of you have. So if you get a chance, there's going to be a wonderful Posi Fest, Positive Music Fest there, end of April, beginning of May next year. If you love music and like to go, it's Jan and JD, it's Daniel Nahmod, it's Karen Drucker, it's all those people. If you know those songs, they're wonderful songs. I'll be there. I'll be there with my wife as well. But when Unity Village, before it was Unity Village, it was a cornfield. And Charles and Myrtle bought the cornfield from the farmer and began to build. And it took them years. The first thing that they built was the tower, because it was actually a water tower. And then they built the Silent Unity, what was then the Silent Unity building. Now the Silent Unity building is over there. So they began to build piece by piece and began to build it up. And after they finished and had it all done, they invited the farmer to come back and to show him. And so they showed him around the fountains and all the buildings and everything. And after they got done, they said, well, what do you think? And he said, you ruined a perfectly good cornfield. He was a corn farmer. That was his vision, right? He couldn't see anything else. And to me, that's one of the gifts that Unity has. It helps give us a vision of what may not be physically present in the moment, but we know is spiritually present. And the real key to that is prayer. To recognize that prayer connects us with that invisible realm where all the energy is, where all the power is, where all the life is, where all the love is, where all the joy, where all that good stuff of God is. It's in the invisible, and it comes out of that, and we get to be channels for it. We get to be expressors of that. And what we have, the tool that we have, is prayer to work with that in our lives. And so it's recognized that we have that viewpoint. And when I think of prayer, I think of when the disciples came to Jesus, and they'd seen his prayers had power, changed people's lives. And so they said, teach us to pray. And what came out of that was what we call the Lord's Prayer, but that was after he gave some instructions. And one of the important parts of that instructions, he said, don't do it the way that other people pray, in an outer way to make a show of it. Go into your closet. That's how the King James translates it. Go into your closet and pray. And he's not talking about your closet where your clothes are. It's more like, one person said the word that's translated closet could be more like a storehouse or a storeroom. Some of you may have grown up in a place where you had a root cellar. That's where you stored things, and you would go down to the root cellar to get them. And so he said, go into that place within you where you've got your stuff, not the physical stuff, material stuff. There's other translations of this. The American Standard Version says, go into your inner chamber. So that points to a little bit different way than just a closet. The Amplified Bible says, go into your most private room. So again, we could think of that in a physical way, that if you have a space at home that you can go into to pray, to be quiet. It's really a metaphysical room that we have. This is my favorite translation. This is from the Orthodox Jewish Bible. Go into the secret place, your inner school. So what a wonderful invitation. So that Jesus, when you pray, go into that secret place, that inner school that you have, and go in and connect. Learn from Spirit, draw from Spirit, and let that be what grows you and works in you in greater and greater ways. So if we think of the universe as an energy system, which is the way scientists think of it. We can think of it that way spiritually as well. That what prayer does, it helps us move the energy of the universe in a way that's different than it's vibrating right now. We're bringing forth something different in our way. And the way that Ambrose Worrell wrote it, he says, every thought is a prayer. And he also wrote, thinking sets in motion spiritual forces to bring about change in body, mind, companions, hopes, and despairs. So when we connect using our mind in prayer, we shift the energy of things. And of course, that's what we want, isn't it? We want to shift it. Because if we grew up in a traditional church, we were taught to plead with God, right? Please, God. You've made a mistake in the way that things are. Please fix it. Right? No, that's not the way. It's about recognizing that we're the ones that get to co-create. We're the ones that get to bring forth a different energy in our lives where we are. And of course, we get stuck. We get stuck with what Zig Ziglar called stinking thinking. Can you relate to that? Sometimes you catch your mind. Yeah, and Swami Vivekananda said, is what we need is mental floss. To prevent truth decay. Because those particles of wrong thinking get stuck between the good thoughts, don't we? We need to clean that out. And so thinking and feeling generate that power of change. And so and again, it's not just about the thoughts, but it really does matter about the energy of thinking that goes with it. Because we may affirm, I'm well, I'm in well, oh, my back. I'm prosperous, I'm prosperous, I'm prosperous. Oh, there's nothing in my checkbook. You know, so we got to recognize to find a way. And so this idea of bathing in prayer is one that for me helps really well. And the image that I invite you to think of is if you had a child or took care of a small child and it was time to bathe them, you didn't just plop them down in the tub, did you? You cradled them in your arm and you bathed them in a very sweet and gentle way. And so that's the energy and really the feeling that I'd like you to connect with it. When you're bathing yourself in prayer, imagine that you're just being held and cradled in that loving presence, that loving support. Remember from Nehemiah, it says, underneath are the everlasting arms. So that's that mothering aspect of God. Because many of us grew up with the idea of God was He, the guy up in the sky. But there's this mothering aspect to God as well. And so this is what we want to connect with for ourselves and as we're bathing others in prayer as well. But let's start with ourselves. So bathe yourself in prayer. So again, some of the images that help me are some of the Madonna and child images that we have. And again, and it's not just Christian images, they go way back before. So we might think of something like this. So this is an image of Mary bathing Jesus. This is from about 1847. So this image isn't really that old. It's not as old as, let's say, like something from the 1600 or earlier, some of the earlier paintings we have. But this one goes back even earlier than that. This is back about the 6th or 5th millennium BC. This is from the Vinca culture. And it's that mothering aspect that we all want to connect with, that we all sometimes feel we didn't get enough of, or didn't give enough of, if that's the case sometimes. But the key is that we want to see ourselves as the beloved child of the infinite and eternal. And let's just say, I am God's beloved child. Let's say, I am God's beloved child. And that's what we want to feel, and to feel that we're bathing ourselves in prayer. And to see that we're bathed in God's light and God's love. You know, I love that the focus of the meditation was love. I didn't do that. I guess that was you that set that up. Yeah. So I thought it was perfect to lead into my lesson. So, you know, to have that sense of being in God's love. And again, we may feel that we need light, understanding for something, more life, more energy to do something. We can bathe ourselves in any of those aspects of prayer. So I invite you to close your eyes right now and just feel that you're being bathed in that presence of God. And we did love earlier, so let's go back to that. So you're being bathed in God's love. Bathed in God's love. And just feel yourself relaxing into that. Allowing that love to interpenetrate you and work in every part of your being. And maybe now there's another aspect of God you want to feel that you're bathing in, a peace or joy or light, strength. And just bathe yourself in that aspect of God. So you can stay in that if you want. I'm going to go on, but you can stay there if you want. So anybody want to share what their experience was like in that?
Big hug, big blanket.
Like a big hug or a big blanket being wrapped around you, okay? What else? Yes?
A beautiful white energy just rolled over me.
A beautiful white energy just rolled over me. Wow, wonderful feeling, yeah. So again, that's what I was hoping for. So hopefully most of you, if not all of you, had some kind of experience like that. And again, you can continue in that, but I'm going to go on. So one of the other images that I use sometimes is like a healing waterfall, close to what your image is. They're just sort of being bathed in this continual flow. There's no end to it. You know, and whatever it is, and whenever I think I'm running out of whatever, creativity or energy or patience or what, I can just bathe in what God is, a continual flow that works. And so this is really the first step in this process, is to bathe yourself in that prayer, that presence of God in there. So here's from the book, where'd it go? I'm still learning. Here it is. Teach Us to Pray. This is a book written by Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, with his second wife, Cora, who really most of the books that we have that were written by Charles Fillmore, we really have Cora to thank, because they were notes or they were recordings, and she's the one that actually went through and did all the notation and wrote them down. So we really have to bless her a lot. But here's what they wrote. I now bathe in the great ocean of life. Let's just say that together. I now bathe in the great ocean of life. And just sort of feel yourself expanding into that, opening up all your being, and allow that ocean of life. I am free in the boundless spirit. I am free in boundless spirit. Let's say that. I am free in boundless spirit. I hear the voice of truth only and rejoice. So again, this is that sense of being, just bathing ourselves, just relaxing into that allness of God. We say there's only one presence and only one power, but we sort of think of that, well, there's only one presence, one power. But if we feel, no, I'm a part of that one presence and one power, it's a part of me, then we feel that energy moving us in a greater way. And then this is from a compilation that was called Keep a True Lent, some of the best of Charles Fillmore's writings. He says, bathe yourself in this boundless ocean of wisdom, love, and light by holding for a few moments in the silence the thought, thy spirit sets me free. So that was Charles Fillmore's recommendation. Thy spirit sets me free. And we just let go of stuff. We have a lot of stuff. You know, the biggest growth industry in the United States is self-storage. We have so much stuff, we don't have room for it in our own homes. We've got to rent a place from somebody else to put this stuff. Because we've been taught as a culture how to get things. We're really good at acquisitiveness, really about getting more in our life. We're not so good about letting go. So we hold on to grief, we hold on to unforgiveness, those are other lessons I'll do another time if you invite me back. But so we need to let go so that we can feel that presence of spirit working in and through us in greater and greater ways. So bathe yourself in prayer. Take time for this. If you don't do the rest of it, fine, but take time for yourself to bathe yourself in prayer. And again, you can use the daily word as a way of entering into that, whatever works for you, but it's really the image and the feeling that we want to go for, that we're bathing ourselves in prayer. So the next step is to bathe others in prayer. And the key is here that we want the best for them. We may think that they made stupid choices. They should have listened to me. And we want to get beyond that and say, no, don't we want the best for them, right? And we don't know what the best is for them. We may think we do. But don't you think Spirit has something better for them than we do?
Yes.
So we want to bathe them in prayer and see something greater in their lives. And one of the keys for me is to use what's called agape love. The Greek language has more than one word for love. There's three main words. There's other words too, but there's three. The one is eros love, which is a sensual love. Not necessarily sexual, but sensual in terms of enjoying the things of the senses, which is an important part of love. The second part is filial love, like to think of the city Philadelphia, means the city of brotherly love. Phileo is that Greek word for that aspect of love. Then there's agape love, and it's called spiritual love, but the way it's usually translated is this idea of benevolence, of doing good to others. In the King James 1 Corinthians 13, love is patient, love is kind. King James is charity is kind. They use the word charity there. And charity not in the sense of, giving to somebody because they need something. Charity because of having the sense of benevolence, the spiritual benevolence within them that we want to share. And so one of the ways that I practice that is when I do emails, I actually use the word dear before the person's name that I'm writing to. Because regardless of what the circumstance is, regardless if it's just, because I do volunteer umpiring for Little League, even if I'm just corresponding with another umpire, dear, because I want to have that experience of them being dear to me and hopefully me being dear to them. And so I set that as a spiritual practice, even in my emails, as a way of doing it. But more important than doing it is the way that we think of others. And particularly if we're troubled about their experiences, what they're going through, to have the sense that the reason that we care is because we have this agape love for them. And we want to see them in that sense of being dear. And so we want to have that sense of bathing them in prayer. So I invite you to pick someone right now and to close your eyes again and imagine that they're being bathed in prayer. If it's one of your offspring, you may want to imagine them as an infant and you're bathing them in prayer. But again, we don't need to even think that we're bathing them in prayer, but that God's bathing them in prayer. And that we're just a witness to that, a catalyst for that, holding a consciousness for that. But see them bathed in prayer. See them receiving the understanding, the wisdom, the sense of strength, the sense of support that they need in their lives. See them bathed in that light of God. See it as a healing waterfall that just continues to pour over them. Even when you're not thinking about them, even when you're not praying for them, that blessing of God is still there. Good thing, because we have lots of other things that enter our minds. Just let them be bathed in prayer. See them. See them. And then let go. Let go of your judgments about them and how their lives should be. And know that God is guiding them in a right and perfect way. So again, you can stay in that if you want. Keep your eyes closed, or you can open and go on with me. So anybody want to share a bit of that experience of seeing someone else bathed in prayer? What was that like? Chase, I see something quickened in you.
Sometimes when my mother gives me a ride, she kind of gets stressed with the other traffic she deals with. And I try to give her suggestions on where to drive. And sometimes she gets a little angry when I suggest how to drive. But I try to be a little calm about it and do nice things for her. And
okay.
I feel that this is a good suggestion to kind of feel that I should just bathe with her, just do nice things, maybe bathe in the ocean.
Because first of all, it changes your energy, doesn't it?
Yes.
And so instead of you being the stressed energy next to her, which she's probably picking up on, you can be this energy of peace.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel I can relax
Yeah.
and not let it stress me out either. It can help us bathe together.
Yeah. Sue Seeking was a Unity minister many decades ago, and she had 4 sons. And during World War II, all 4 of them were in the armed forces. One of them was a paratrooper, and she didn't know the specifics because it was, secret, that he was going to be paratroop, because where else would you paratroop except behind enemy lines? And he was not only paratrooping behind enemy lines, but with skis. They were jumping out of the airplane with skis on. So she was worried about him, and so she went to Charles Fillmore and said, I'm trying to pray about my son, and I'm having a really hard time. And I'm afraid. And he said, cut it out. You're putting static on his line to God. And that metaphor really caught her to realize, no, if I'm in that nervous, fearful energy, then that's what I'm giving out. Again, remember the universe is an energy system. So as we bathe someone in prayer, it changes our energy, and it's a blessing for them. And we said, well, what if they're not receptive to it? That's not your job. Your job is just to see them bathed in prayer and trust that Spirit will do its work. So that's bathing others in prayer. And then there's sort of another step in this, and that's bathing those difficult people in prayer. The difficult for us to bless them, difficult for us to think kind thoughts about them. And you have your own list. I'm not going to share mine. And the key here is to separate the person as a child of God from the behavior that was hurtful, that was stupid, that was non-productive, that they went over to the dark side. Separate their behavior from who they are as a child of God and see that. This summer, my wife and I were traveling. It was June. And I saw a billboard, had Abraham Lincoln's face on it. And this is from his I forgot this part. So you need to heal the dark places in your heart and mind. Let the light in. So if you're holding that somebody else is a blankety blankety other kind of person, that's a dark place in you that you need to let the light in. So this is from Abraham Lincoln's second inaugural address: with malice toward none, with charity for all. And think about the context, the time context of when he was saying that. This is near the end of the Civil War, and brother had been killing brother, and that whole thing. And so he's saying, with malice toward none. He didn't say with malice toward none, except for those so-and-sos that with malice toward none, with charity for all. And again, this is that word charity again, which is that agape love, holding them dear. Not just without malice for them, holding them dear as a child of God. And so I had read that, and I thought, there's some people that I need to practice that with. When we got home from our trip, and the home that we're in, we've been there a little over a year and a half. And when we bought it, there was this little unit on the back, 2 rooms with a bathroom, about 250 square feet total, so not a big place. But we were renting it out on Airbnb and bringing in some money and meeting people from around the country and around the world. It was really quite delightful. Well, we were on our trip, our neighbor reported us to the city of Santee, because Santee does not allow Airbnb. They don't go after unless somebody reports it. And this building was right on the property line on her property and right on the property line behind, and there's this whole setbacks and stuff. So we get back to this letter from the city to not only stop doing Airbnb, but tearing down the building. And again, we don't know for sure that it was this certain neighbor, but yeah. And so there's this anger, this frustration, this disappointment, but then these words came back to me: with malice toward none, with charity for all. Oh man. And I said, okay, I said I was going to do this spiritual practice. So here's my opportunity. And so I did it. So a part of my morning prayer, whenever I thought about her and the building, and not only did we have to tear it down, you have to get a demolition permit that cost us $387 and hire somebody to do it, because it was a bigger job than I could do. So, and the first bid that came in was $8,500 to tear this building down. With malice toward none, with charity for all. With malice toward none, with charity for all. The next bid was $8,500. We got one for $5,000. We got one for $8,600. And then we got one for $1,100. No, it was $1,150, including the permit. With malice toward none, but charity for all. And it was just an interesting experience. And then as we stopped, there was a part of me that was relieved that I didn't have to take care of this Airbnb anymore. And one of the other things is that, that finance is always something that we're working with. And it was about this time Meredith said, since we've been retired, we have more money in savings than we did when you were working full time. And I go, well, how did that happen? And then we begin to see all these little pieces that were there. And so remember, God is the source of our supply. It's not this Airbnb building. It's not, it's like when we let go of thinking what's wrong, we allow a space for the energy of what's right to work on us in a different way. And so I invite you to embrace this with someone in your life that you've been holding malice toward, that you've not liked, that maybe you've had even an energy of hate or of loathing them or whatever it is. And it could be somebody that's here or somebody that's there, political, whatever. And to practice with malice toward none, with charity for all, and bathe them in prayer. and say, God, I can't do it, and I know that you can bathe them in prayer, till the point that you can get where when you say, I'm bathing them in prayer. But at the beginning, let God do it. Okay, so I invite you to close your eyes and take this on again. So someone that you have, where the energy that you have for them has not been good for you. It really doesn't hurt them that much. And just say, I see them bathed in God's light. I see them bathed in God's love. I see them bathed in God's abundance. Because if they had money, they wouldn't be asking me for it. Yeah. See them bathed in God, in God's allness, one presence, one power for them in every part of their life. Take a deep breath and see them bathed in prayer. You can keep working on that if you want, or you can come along with me for the next step. This is written by a Sioux author and artist, Paul Warcloud. Prayer to the Great Spirit. Great Spirit, giver of all life, you have been always. Before you, nothing has been. So again, it's the allness of God. Look and smile upon us, your children, so that we might live this day to serve you, which is what our daily word was about today. Watch over my relatives, the red, the black, the white, and the brown. Dear son, it's agape love, that connection. Sweet in my heart, I love it, sweet in my heart. How many times do we need to have our hearts sweetened because we've been holding something pretty sour in our life? Sweeten my heart and fill me with light this day. Give me strength to understand and the eyes to see. Help me, Great Spirit, for without you I am nothing. That's a surrender. Another way to say this, in God we are everything, but without God, what are we? You know, well, I'm only human. Well, if that's what you want to claim, with God you're much more than that. You're a spiritual being, one with the one with the infinite. And so what a beautiful, beautiful prayer. And again, I saw you taking a picture of it, that's great. But it sweeten my heart. That's my favorite, particularly in this context of bathing someone in prayer, bathing myself in prayer. Sweeten my heart. I don't want it polluted with negativity, with darkness. Sweeten my heart. So one more. This is, there we go. So this is from Myrtle Fillmore's Healing Letters. If you have not read Myrtle Fillmore's Healing Letters, I invite you to get it. You can get it online. You can probably find, I'll give you my email, I'll give you a free copy in a Word document. She says, think of the goodness of God in the life of all of his children. So that's another way of saying bathe them in prayer. Think of that goodness of God in the life of all of his children. Think of God as everywhere present, light, love, peace, power, and life. Think of all men, all women, all children as abiding in God's presence and expressing God's qualities. That's what bathing yourself in prayer, that's what bathing others in prayer is all about. So you've heard that cleanliness is next to godliness. So I invite you to bathe yourself and others in prayer. Happy bathing.